live?
When you get a chance. We're going live now. We're starting to press the big.
We're going live. I don't know what it's going to sound like. Hopefully it sounds pretty good. We got a piano player coming along.
That's just bad.
That's all right. That's all right.
Peter Schiff's yelling in the background.
That's awesome.
That's Peter Schiff yelling in the background. If Peter Schiff wants to come on the podcast, he can.
We'll have it.
Yeah.
Like, it is that crazy. Everybody leaves crazy people alone. Yeah.
Corrected Axiom.
You be crazy. Whoa.
See what this sounds like. We're just doing the sound check. Getting the little thing.
Oh yeah, you can hear everything.
Yeah? All right, good. Let us share. Share it.
Sharing
Share
is
now.
caring.
Invite friends.
Sometimes.
Max Keiser. Let's get Max Keiser.
Max
Yeah.
Keiser.
How you doing?
Oh, he's
Hey,
good.
Max.
Come on here. Come on here. We got to say something here, Max. Hey, what's going on? This is Crypto and Chat with COAX. The video is going to be complimentary. So we may not be looking at the camera the whole time, but it's the audio that matters. We got a special guest. We're going to have a lot of special guests coming in.
Max
Come on in,
Keiser.
Max Keiser. Right over here. We got video running, but it's complimentary.
Right here.
Hey, look, if Peter Schiff wants to come over, we get round 3 going.
Peter Schiff.
Where's Peter? No,
We're gonna invite Peter over here.
Leave Peter alone.
What's
He's taking
going on?
enough beating.
I'll tell you what, man.
Heel.
Highly entertaining. That shit was so fucking.
Okay.
That shit was really good. It was.
Yeah, well, I thought the points made were good points.
They were good
Yeah,
points.
and so there it is. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know,
Even strengthen his argument for him.
I gave him an argument on the way out.
You
Just,
did.
just to be a nice guy.
A good winner.
Yeah, because we'll meet up again. It doesn't matter. Meet up anytime, any day. I will
Yeah.
always win this argument because
So
I've got.
you say you've
on my
known him
side.
for quite some time, right?
Yeah, well, we both started on Wall Street at about the same time as retail stockbrokers, and I was on Wall Street for 7 years, 8 years, and I, did other stuff. And Peter stayed on Wall Street. I know. It's kind of that class of the early 1980s.
Yeah.
So I know that's my generation, my class of Wall Street people. So I know him. I know, I respect him in a lot of ways. But he's completely wrong about this.
He is. But and I think where he's getting kind of confused is that we all have gold.
Yeah, right.
We all have silver. We all believe in precious metals, but just maybe not in the extreme context that he puts in it as far as comparing it to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies.
I think that it's easy to argue against Bitcoin to a certain degree because most people out there, the learning curve is steep and they're too lazy to even learn the basics. So he knows that he can get a lot of press and airtime by being a Bitcoin bear. And I'm not even sure he believes what he's saying at this point. But I think that he knows that he can get a lot of coverage. And coverage is good, because he's a business person and it's easy. You get mentioned, it's good for your business. So
Wasn't there some concessions made by him about the value of the satellites in Nexus? Wasn't that something that happened?
that happened earlier last night. I think a lot of folks are bringing up other points. The satellite point, the point that Visa has a huge market cap in the public market, hundreds of millions of dollars, and it's effectively just nothing. There's nothing. There's no there with Visa. They're just moving digits around.
Right.
So that's publicly accepted as value for money. It has a big public market valuation. So there's a lot more arguments are being sussed out during this whole debate period, which is important. And I know his debating style because I've studied it for years. So
He's got nothing on your debating style, let's say.
well, he's a very good debater. I've seen him on TV many times.
We all love Peter Schiff.
And he's a good debater. And so I try to come up with, I talked to you yesterday about this and what would be the game plan to debate Peters, because it can't just be fact versus fact, like detail versus detail, because first thing he just talks over everybody, right? And second of all, he's very good at stating fake facts that are hard to refute on the fly.
Yeah.
Like, he'll say something like, X number of people accept gold in a certain number of countries at a certain time of day as proof of what he's saying.
Right.
And you can't really refute it at that moment, but it sounds convincing.
Yeah.
So this is what typically a stockbroker does. As a stockbroker for many years, as a salesman, like it's a certain sales technique that there's a lot of ways that you employ to get your point across. So I was a stockbroker for many years, so I know like where that style of selling comes from. So I would be like respond to it in the way that I would respond to it as a stockbroker. Right. So I have my own set of factoids that you can't disprove in this moment either. So there's equally fallacious arguments, but the fact is the price is going up. We can't get away from that basic underlying trend. Number one, the trend is there, and so let's dance around that trend all you want, but you can't escape it.
Well, he's also in front of a crowd of people that do not agree with what he's saying in that subject matter.
But he thrives in that. I mean, if you look at his videos, he's down at Occupy Wall Street, surrounded by people saying, "I am the 1%."
Yeah, ask me.
Come and talk to me. Right? Or he's in a Walmart parking lot, arguing against minimum wage. So this is what he like. He does it very good.
Well, he said in the debate, he said that nobody really accepts Bitcoin. And that's not really true. Overstock.com is one huge example of a huge company that accepts Bitcoin as payment. And I'm sure there's multitude others, but I can't think of right now. But you know what I'm saying?
Well, what he was saying was they don't hold the Bitcoin, they transfer it through a payment network. So therefore they're accepting it, but they're accepting it by somebody who's taking the Bitcoin and turning it into a fiat and depositing fiat back into their account.
Same thing with the gold. And the gold money market. So that's not an argument against it.
And then he said, well, people like to wear gold. So what?
His favorite thing is rings, man. I can make rings out of it.
We're told gold just out. Again, this is coming from a person. I'm pro gold. I don't want to talk about this like I'm not. You know what I mean? But it's frustrating to hear that argument.
Right, but the use case for gold, whether you can use it in electronics or you can use it as jewelry, the fact is that probably 90% or 98% of it is held as a store of value. So what? You can use it. So the use in electronics could be disappear. With some other material that could come around and be more useful in electronics. So it's not a permanent feature of gold.
Don't they try to get away from using gold because of it's too expensive to cover the boards, so they're more conductivity? Like they try to get away from it because it's too expensive. So how do they do that? You know what I mean? They say it's got a practical use, so that's why it's got value.
Well, just the density of the transistors on motherboards means you have better processing power for less gold on that motherboard.
Right.
So there's less demand for gold. I mean, and there will be materials that are superior to gold in what that does in the electronics world. So yeah, it's used, but so what? It'll be replaced. That's not why people dig gold out of the ground to use it on a motherboard somewhere on an iPhone. They use it as a store of value. That's why people accumulate gold.
Getting away from the debate, I wanted to ask a question. As new to crypto as we are, personally, but how do you go about keeping yourself safe in turning your earnings in crypto back into fiat? Is that something to be concerned about? I mean, is there going to be stricter regulations coming down the pike? I mean, I know we're subject to the capital gains tax now, right? Isn't that how that would work?
Hello. Wow, you are new.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Well, most of the people that are watching.
No, you have. If you're buying Bitcoin, and then you sell your Bitcoin at some point, you have potentially a tax liability. As an asset, it would be taxed at a 15% rate. It's not income, right? It's an asset you've bought and sold, so you're subject to 15% capital gains tax. What's interesting about Bitcoin Cash, in my view, is that let's say if you paid $3,000 for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin Cash at the time of Bitcoin Cash distribution, it was worth what, $400 something dollars. So the basis for the Bitcoin that you bought at $3,000 is actually $2,600. That's your taxable basis. That's the way I think they're going to play it. So if Bitcoin goes from $3,000 to $4,000. You would pay taxes not on that $1,000 gain. It's $1,000 plus the bit cash distribution of $400. Your basis is adjusted down by $400. So you've got a bigger tax liability by that Bitcoin Cash because they would treat it as essentially a stock distribution or a spin-off.
So that would be said for any cryptocurrency that you're exchanging.
Yeah, that's right. Sure. So you have a tax liability. A lot of time reason there's not a lot more liquidity in this market is because of the tax liability. Number one, you're talking about a big tax bite, but yeah, you do have tax liability, and you should report it, and you should pay your taxes. I mean, or if you don't, then that's a decision that you would make. That is for you to make. I mean, that's not when you pay your taxes every year. You have an obligation. The way it's set up right now, we still live in the federal system. The IRS is still the tax authority. They still have tremendous powers to enforce the taxation regime in the United States, and they are aware of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. So yeah, I mean, you would be. It depends on what your feeling is. I mean, Peter Schiff's dad went to prison, fighting the tax system. Okay, so he took a moral stand in his view, and he went to jail for it. So I mean, that could be something somebody in the crypto space may decide.
The only person I did for taxes in America in my life, I dropped into a bed and they didn't give him medical pension that he deserved, which cost him lifespan.
Oh yeah, that was exactly. So I mean, if you can take that position, or not. It depends on what you feel is, what your feeling is going to be. But is it taxable then? Yeah, hell yeah.
We didn't get to talk about the debate while you were here, and you were, local where we were sitting. If you wanted to explain what you had to say.
I bought my car. Both my cars from Bitcoin.
Right. All right.
So the Bitcoin Caddy 1 and 2.
And looking for a dealership where the dealer asked me if I wanted to, after he found out I was a Bitcoin,
Right.
I wanted to buy it with Bitcoin.
Right.
He didn't ask me.
Right, exactly.
Now he does have gold and silver, but that's what I understand about him is like I love gold and silver.
Yeah.
I diversify.
Right.
And Bitcoin has allowed me to get the gold and silver.
That's right.
It should be something he's promoting because he wants people to get more gold and silver.
There's been a lot of theories that he is secretly holding Bitcoin, and he just won't admit it because of pride or.
I think he sees more value from the marketing side of his business to bash Bitcoin than to be more supportive of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Because if he just said, "Oh, I support Bitcoin," then he would be attacked by the press as being succumbed to this thing called Bitcoin that everyone else knows is nuts.
Right.
So he has to, for his business, I think the decision was, I can get bigger marketing bang for the buck by being a Bitcoin basher.
Yeah.
And maybe he's doing something on the side, maybe not, but I mean, his position is to be anti-Bitcoin and to make these statements about it, which, everyone here, all these discussions, no one's really been able to come up with an argument that makes Peter Schiff look good on this debate. Yeah, I haven't really heard anything he's said.
I agree that if you're making a substantial amount of profit on Bitcoin or cryptos, that it's not a bad idea to diversify into some metals. I've done it, and I like to hold precious metals as well. But it's also about diversity. You own stocks. He has a very diverse portfolio, and I don't see the reason why he doesn't want to have a little bit of Bitcoin as a portion of his portfolio to diversify. I mean, sure, maybe it's high risk to him, but it's a good.
He said he diversifies, and he.
Right, he said diversify.
Yeah, so why not diversify more?
Right.
That's how you hedge against risk.
Right, exactly. Another excellent point. Right? they just come like they roll right out.
They just keep coming out.
You just have every minute. It's like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's another good point. Like,
But he just won't heal to it. You know what I'm saying?
No.
It's just he's stuck in his ways, or he's stuck with, like we were saying.
who's getting a lot of play? Look, he's over here. He's got swarmed all day long. He's getting a lot of press.
Yeah.
Right? That's useful. If you have a business, you're a businessman, no matter what business you're in. If you're getting a lot of press, that's good for your business.
To switch a little bit, I heard you talk about Jamie Dimon a couple times, right?
Yeah.
This weekend so far. This weekend? Yeah, this weekend. There's a lot of speculation or evidence on the internet saying that he drove down the prices. That way JP Morgan could then buy up a whole bunch of Bitcoin. there's a screenshot of a site. I think it's a Russian site. I'm not sure, where it says J.P. Morgan Securities Inc. had bought up. They were like top 4 buyer after that huge dip had happened.
Right.
I've heard the argument that it could be just them buying on behalf of individuals, and you're not going to see the individuals' names on there. You're just going to see J.P. Morgan itself. Do you think one way or the other that they drove the prices down to then jump into Bitcoin, or that it's more likely they're just buying on behalf of?
Well, as I understand it, okay, the buy order came through for a client whom J.P. Morgan was their broker.
Okay.
So the client put that order. So was that client J.P. Morgan? Right? We don't know. We don't know. Could have been.
Yeah.
Right? So it's but a client.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. The point being, it wasn't on the J.P. Morgan system as such. It was simply executing a trade for a client on another platform. But we don't know who the client is. Number one. Number two. I think this happened in Sweden, is where this was observed, and the authorities there are now going after Jamie Dimon for false promotion, false information, saying that you enabled a trade, your organization enabled a purchase of a security that you yourself called a fraud.
Yeah. Right.
So that's a violation. That's the securities laws are very strict. Now, as a registered securities broker myself for many years, you have to understand Securities Act of 33 and 34, and you need to be quite fluent in the legal constraints and parameters that govern the securities business as a dealer, as a salesman, and it's very strict. And the language is very precise. And so when you use a word like fraud, that's a legal term in that context of financial dealings. Fraud has a legal distinction that the regulator said, based on your use of this word fraud, you are in violation, because you are marketing securities that you yourself have pointed out as being fraudulent. Yeah. So you're in violation. That's a violation. So that's number one. So would he have purposefully violated the law in this way and get censured in this way? Probably not. I think that he badmouthed Bitcoin, and it opened up this series of events, but I don't think they were engineering a price fall.
Okay. It's so easy to just believe that conspiracy. I mean, it goes for anything, really. The conspiracy tends to be the shiny object in the room. It's like, oh, yeah, this must be true. And I think it's important to kind of discuss these things, what the real possibilities could be, especially.
Well, sadly, we're left with conspiracy theories because the news has been decimated. Yeah. You don't have any investigative journalism going on. It's too expensive. You have, Fox News or CNBC or MSNBC are opinions. My show is,
Hey,
come on in.
Colin. Yeah, come sit over here.
What's up, Max?
What's up, man?
Good job today, man.
Oh, cool. I'm pleased that everybody was
cracking up. Dude,
we were laughing our asses off. It was great.
The video is complimentary. Whatever. No, it's really about the audio. The audio is where it's at. We could shift everybody down if we so be it.
It's all about the audio.
It's all about the audio. So what's going on, Colin? How you doing?
Just chilling, brother.
This is your event, man. How's it
my
feeling?
Event. It's our event, bro.
Well, it's our event, but without you, I probably wouldn't be here. Without this guy, I wouldn't be here.
Without
this guy, I wouldn't be here. So
it all came together.
Yeah.
It all came together.
That's what it's about, man.
I need a new mic. Can I take a photo of this? Maybe. Oh
shit! You broke it.
They're messed up. All right. So you recommend this mic?
We just bought it because we left ours home. So yeah, we just bought it.
We're gonna do a plug for what is it?
Audio Technica.
Oh yeah, okay.
Audio Technica.
Sounds good. Then.
So far, so good.
Yeah. I'll buy it. Give me 12.
Absolutely.
I got 2 direct to USB Samsungs sitting at my home.
Okay. Fair enough.
Oh well.
It doubles up as a vaping.
Yeah, we're
streaming right now.
Colorado.
Yeah, we're streaming.
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, absolutely. We're live, man.
Are we live?
Were you sitting in there in the debate?
Oh yeah. Didn't you hear me speak? Dude, he cut you out because satellites. You get him with the satellites.
Yeah.
He's about to go on that. And then I'd say like 1933, you had the gold seizure. What are you gonna do with your gold card when you take all the gold?
Another good point.
Yeah.
It's like
The governments, they take the gold and then they sell you back the government certified companies.
Well, he was saying last night that it wasn't requirement. It wasn't enforced. Some people did. It was kind of voluntary. There was supposed to be
Big
punishments, but they weren't.
I heard that, but big corporations are obviously going to be adhering to all of those regulations. It's not going to be little ones. So using gold cards and having centralized services that are holding all your gold, you're SOL.
Yeah.
You're not gold.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what's cool. Like, I mean, Bitcoin, they got to steal them. They got to steal the credit from you. If you know how to encrypt it, they can't do anything with it.
That's
They exist in mathematical space.
That's right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You were the one that pointed out to me that he had made some sort of concession on that, right? In their conversation earlier about the technology involved being of value. Or was it you?
I think that was nice.
It was Heist.
Heist, we don't give him any credit. We don't give Heist any credit.
Take
for
credit.
Take the credit. Yeah, Colin said it, I think.
We don't give Heist things.
Whatever.
Oh man, what an amazing weekend though. Tomorrow,
Oh, yeah.
we got Ron Paul coming in tomorrow.
I think Ron Paul's finishing now.
Yeah.
I have to fly out. I just found out. I have to fly out early and go to LA early in the morning and hook up with Stephen Baldwin and start shooting this new TV show.
Cool. Oh, that's awesome.
It's called The Great American Pilgrimage. 16 episodes. Stephen and I are in a van, a bus, going cross country, talking to people, and I'm going to be preaching crypto.
Mm-hmm.
And we got Dash came aboard as a sponsor. They put up $500,000.
Nice.
They raised the money in 20 hours.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be on RT, you know, they're the distributor. And so hopefully it'll be on the air starting in October.
Yeah.
Come to Pittsburgh, look me up.
Yeah.
Good deal.
P-Dog.
We hope to, you know,
He goes by P-Dog in Pittsburgh.
follow my Twitter, you know.
Yeah. But yet another example of how crypto is creating or helping these projects evolve and happen. You know, something that Peter will not admit to be a reality. I mean, that's another
the
case.
People
you know?
in Texas, right? I mean, we're donating to that. Like, I think Danny from over there from the crypto show.
Yeah.
I mean, they're actually helping people eat and get resources that FEMA's not providing.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna start seeing that in Florida
It's
too.
donated in there like that with no loopholes or happen to find a bank to go and
You know, Red Cross.
Right.
Yeah.
Shows the weaknesses of the centralized systems. I mean, the world, and that's kind of a fuel too, I see. And like the world's grown too big for the centralized systems to work. They just can't. They can't support the population. I mean, my sister fled from Florida when all those hurricanes were hitting there. And she said it was eerie. There was gas stations right up. There was no gas in the whole state. Food shelves were completely barren. And I mean, we had it more distributed and decentralized, and I mean voluntary based, these things wouldn't be happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that there has to be a central authority with all their central resources that has to act, and then call themselves the authority can create some problem because they can't even keep up with the responsibility. I mean, I think authority and responsibility are equal to one another, and I think we have too much authority and no responsibility or accountability for that these days.
Going back to RT, I love RT.
I love RT.
Yeah.
I love RT. I think it's Slack for me.
It's
I love RT.
Right?
Here I am. I trust Russia Today more than any other news organization.
I've taken
Right.
Slack because I've said that I go there to hear news. I go there to hear news.
Well, you know, their approach, I can tell you from the inside, they just want to compete. Like their whole idea is just we want eyeballs. You know, and we'll just hire people that deliver us eyeballs. And they, editorially, we never hear from them on the editorial side.
Wow.
Ever. I've never had, except that as I shared before, like I was showing my nipple. That was an issue.
That was a problem.
But whereas at the BBC, which is highly centralized, state-run broadcaster, when we did a show for them, they sent over 2 executives who monitored every single word we said, everything in the script, every single guest, and did all the editing.
Because that's reporting.
And that's the BBC mentality. And they have an amazing technique for censorship. If they want to censor someone and they don't want their views on TV, they say the following: that person is not being impartial enough. You're not being impartial enough. See, they say the BBC, we're impartial. But of course, that's like Fox News saying we're fair and balanced.
Yeah.
So you use this word impartial as a club to beat censorship in people, because it's just like you'll say, you have an opinion. They'll say that's not impartial enough. They'll give you another version of that opinion. No, you're not quite impartial enough. Then you say what you want them to hear you say, they go, that's impartial now. That's the level of impartiality we need to hear. Right? I mean, so it's dystopian. That's no coincidence that all these dystopian novels came out of Britain, like 1984, and Brave New World. You know, the place is a fucking shithole.
Doesn't London have cameras on every angle?
It's the most surveyed city in the world. It's the least free speech of any of the industrialized nations. They actually respect the monarchy in a way that I also thought it was a joke. I thought it was a figurehead. But they really believe that this woman has some kind of authority over everyone, and we should bow down and curtsy. And they don't think it's a joke.
And have you seen their river too? It's brown. Yeah. Oh my gosh! I looked at it. I'm like, this is horrible, man. Look at what we're doing.
So let's clean up a little bit, but the cesspool is now the media. All that shit in the Thames is now BBC. In the river of feces. Orgy of irresponsibility. And it's like run by pedophiles. It's like the pedophile capital of the world.
I'm so happy every government.
Well, that's why they do that.
So happy you brought that up.
They specialize in pedophilia in the UK. They make it a work requirement. You can't get a job there unless you're like been arrested.
Oh, it's important. Yeah, they need to have something on you before they let you have a.
But they want it. It's like a heroic effort. Like Jimmy Savile.
Jimmy Savile, yeah. It's about.
He was fucking dead kids, and they knighted him.
Whoa!
They gave him a knighthood. Right? I mean,
doesn't knighting mean they don't have to be taxed by the crown? Basically,
it means they can fuck anybody.
Yeah, they can fuck any children they like.
Kids. and the queen will be like, ooh.
Good job, JB. Good job, JB. Oh,
yeah,
any second
my
now.
speech today. They cut the feed.
Put the arrest Podesta.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Shirts up.
So speaking of, I see you checking your time. You want to get the fuck out of here. But since you brought it up, we're gonna dwell on it just a little bit here. The pedophilia in the tops of everything. The fucking government, the heads of state, all this shit. Why is it so predominant? Is it just because you will see sometimes somebody who was like a low-level politician, maybe a senator or something like that, maybe even lower than that, local, might have been a good person. They kind of climbed the ladder a little bit, and then you start realizing they become more corrupt. They kind of, all the principles that they ran on, they're going the other way, and then you find out 5 years later that they're fucking kids. You know what I'm saying? So is it just a bribery tool, or is it a Satanist tool? Like, what is the element there that is, why is it so predominant in these powerful circles?
In Hollywood too.
Well,
yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, a lot of them are in some really weird dark cults.
Oh yeah.
My thought would be that power corrupts, and infinite power
Corrupts,
is infinitely, absolutely
Yeah.
corrupts absolutely.
Yeah.
And you have this is very people who are drunk on power, who are diseased by power, who are they get into this kind of craven mindset. And they
don't have to answer to anybody, I guess.
And it's
I don't know why that's where their mind goes though.
It's a power thing. I think it's quite.
But the way that it's kept so secret is what's really horrifying, because that really implicates almost every major.
You guys saw what just happened in Iceland?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You sent me
What
that.
happened?
They were covering up pedophilia. They were targeting pedophiles on the highest state level. And Iceland overthrew their government. They don't have government right now.
Really?
Yeah, that just happened.
They had a full-blown revolution?
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you a
Leave it to
No,
Iceland.
they
Right?
said
They stepped
government
down.
walked out.
Yeah.
Half the government walked out, so then the government disbands because this government, the Iceland government, I forget what it's called,
You're right.
but it's been around since what, 1200.
Wow.
And the leftist side said, okay, conservative side's full of pedophilia, we're not having a part of your government. And they walked out 24 hours after the government reinstated after the summer break.
Shit.
Yeah, because they're covering up pedophilia, targeting pedophiles.
What's it going to take for that to happen in America? I mean, we had Denny Hastert, right? He was Speaker of the fucking House under who? Bush and Clinton, or just Bush, Clinton? I mean, and this guy was fucking kids. I mean, this shit is
Anthony
crazy.
Weiner.
Yeah. He's not. Yeah.
How about
exactly.
John Podesta? I mean, this guy is.
No, you can't say that. You can't say that.
We'll take that back. They'll shut everything down if you say JP's name. What do you think about this guy?
Visit arrestpodesta.com.
I don't think about this guy.
I didn't hear a word.
Okay, good. All right.
Maybe let's talk about something.
Yeah, all right.
Who brought this up?
Max
fucking brought it up, right?
Seth Rich wasn't murdered.
Well, this.
Of course not.
Yeah, so we won't talk about that
No,
either, I
let's
guess,
not
right?
talk about Seth Rich getting murdered by the Clinton campaign.
Yeah.
No,
Fucking
that's
A.
taboo.
If
There was a point when I almost screamed that out today. I forget what was being discussed, but I wanted to say that. I can't remember what was being
I think
said.
somebody mentioned like fucking pizza and pineapples, and
Yeah,
you
that
just-
was it. It just went
it
into-
takes
went to that
anything at this
place.
point.
The power just clings on for too long. I mean, the Clintons become deranged, because
Yeah.
you need term limits.
Yeah,
You
Oh,
get
yeah.
people serve for one term and out.
that's it.
You know,
Yeah.
and then because when you have people there for 30, 40 years, it's just they go nuts and they do some really bad things. You just got to keep it fresh, man. Keep it lively. Keep it circulating.
Well, when it all started,
Because the
it
family
yeah,
couldn't do the family thing either because you can't breed fast enough.
yeah,
Like, the families wouldn't be able to constantly be out.
yeah.
Because George Washington's farewell address, he served 2 terms and he left.
Yeah.
And he said, "This is, what the power of this democracy is, that we are not trying to encourage monarchical behavior. And I'm leaving. I'd like somebody else." And so that spirit needs to be reinvigorated.
Yeah, well, when it started, and obviously government was much smaller back then, but it was like, the town would vote and say, all right, Max is the best person to represent us, and he'll go to D.C. or wherever, and he'll lay the votes out, and then he'll come back and he'll just continue to do his job that he did. There was no money in the
No, the
politics.
genius of the Constitution is that just read the document, follow the instructions.
Yeah.
The Trump presidency, the reason it didn't worry me is that, the Constitution is there. It's like, if you get an IKEA furniture, you can follow the directions or not. If you don't, you know what's going to happen.
Never do.
You're going to be, at 5 a.m. screwing a light bulb into a toaster. How did this happen? It's just there's the instructions. Just follow the instructions.
Yep.
And that's the genius of the American system. It should be operable by anybody with a modern intelligence to serve as a civil servant to follow the Constitution.
And anything worth changing should take at least 50 years
Yeah.
before it can just happen. But
So what about
executive orders?
What about people who say, well, when the Constitution was written, it was a much different time, and we have to now adjust to the times that we're in today and the social climate that we're in today.
That's what amendments are.
What do you mean it was a much different time? It came during the age of enlightenment, which was the product of centuries of intellectual thought by the brightest minds of that era. John Locke said in 1720 that if the social contract is broken, we must revolt. Now that's true in 1720, and it's true in 2017. The social contract has been broken. That's an eternal verity. Nothing is changed. Therefore, it's incumbent upon us to revolt. And we also have the Second Amendment, which gives us the right to overthrow any tyrant if they take control of the White House. I posit that we've seen tyrants in the White House the last 12 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Therefore, what are we all waiting around for? It's incumbent upon us under our constitutional obligation to take back our government using the provisions that are there in the Second Amendment. That's what it's there for.
Yeah, for sure.
So why don't we use it for that reason? It's not there for self-protection as it is for protection against tyranny.
Yeah.
That's what it's there for.
Max is getting me so worked up. Like systematically over the past couple of days. I'm just saying. What is that? That Schiff called you like some sort of fearless leader of Bitcoin, didn't he? What he said?
I don't know. He's starting to wonder what the hell's going on.
He was going all ad hominem on it, too.
Yeah.
Notice that when he failed the technicals, he's like, well, this guy.
Look at this guy, man.
Exactly.
Remember that? And then at the very end,
Well, yeah.
buy gold, go to my website. We're like, oh my God.
Shameless plug. Shameless. Super shameless plug.
It was still amazing.
Max, thank you so much, man. It was a pleasure. Colin, move down a little bit so we can get you in.
Nice to meet you, Max. Thank you for coming.
Awesome. Come. Yeah, move down a little bit, Colin.
I gotta get going soon too.
Yeah, no problem, man.
We got the film premiere.
So let's talk about that. Tell us a little bit about what's going to be going on. Next
So
for
right
WrestleMania.
now it's actually happening. So Scott Hayes, he's really he's kind of a disruptor of Hollywood, and he's working with I guess in the Hollywood industry in order to help bring more awareness to people. He's on the same wavelength as all of us. That's what's so cool. So this movie he's doing is Mole, which is about this guy that made millions of dollars selling oil back in Kenya, and then he saw all these starving children and he decided to adopt them. And so he's been literally feeding starving children using the money that he earned to help the world. And so it's a really inspirational movie. And this is actually the first premiere of it. It's a red carpet event.
Oh, shit.
And it's coming out in the theaters, I think, October 5th.
Nice.
This is an exclusive viewing.
Awesome. That is
Scott
so
Hayes
sick.
also been filming a movie here. So they got they kind of tied the Nexus Conference into this movie.
Aren't
Yeah, I
you?
heard you.
You're in it, aren't you?
Yeah, they came and interviewed me and stuff. And
Were you like stepping off the helicopter slow motion?
No.
Laser over the shoulder.
I was just being myself. I was just like, I had a couple things that I had to act.
Yeah.
Like, oh, did you see this girl? Blah blah blah. And, oh yeah, well, she was like 2 months ago going to work for us, and blah blah blah. And then it's cool.
No, you did. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not lines, but this is, kind of what we want to see. I mean, it's pretty free flow. But Scott, he's a cool dude, man. You guys, it's really cool to see some disruptors that actually have the right intentions and are penetrating the bureaucracy of Hollywood. Because I mean, that's the source of all the brainwashing in the world, man.
Of course.
Think about it. And so, I mean, kind of look at what we've done with Nexus. Like you guys, it's like people come in, they're like, money, 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 and then they're like, holy shit, look at what we're doing. We're changing the world here, and then they find that purpose, and the greed just goes away. Because greed, I think, is an energy it's like a black hole. It's you're trying to fill a hole with water, and it just keeps going out, and you're never going to be able to fill it. Now we're here giving them dirt. Like, here, this is how you fill the hole. It's your purpose. That's what you're missing. That's why you're greedy, because you think your purpose is money, because that's how you're programmed, and then you get addicted to that, and you keep making your hole deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and then you never get there. But people come to Nexus, and then they stop from it. They're like, wait, this feels right. No, I mean, the price, whatever, but this feels right. It's about what we're doing here. And so, and the same perspective with Hollywood. People are programmed by Hollywood. So we can inject these idealisms in Hollywood, and people that normally want to be entertained and and be zombies, now they don't have to be. Because they're going to watch these movies, and it's going to wake them up. And they're going to see, hey, there's things happening in the world right now that I can be a part of. There's this revolution. I mean, Iceland government has collapsed. We are in the midst of a fucking revolution. People just don't realize it all yet, man. You know how far the dollar's fallen this year?
Yeah.
10%. 10%. And he's calling crypto a bubble.
I know.
What the hell?
We always keep coming back.
Yeah, and then gold. Wait, did gold? But did gold go up 10%? No, I mean, shouldn't it? If the dollar fell 10%, shouldn't the market correct?
And that's what I always thought.
Wait, problem. Gold is traded for the dollar. Oh, mister, I hate the dollar, but yet I need the dollar. Why doesn't he fucking use Bitcoin to buy his fucking gold?
Because he can't make a ring out of Bitcoin. That's his fucking go-to, man.
Yeah, he can't make a ring out of Bitcoin, but he can send Bitcoin to somebody to make him a fucking gold. Jesus Christ. I mean, and he doesn't have to carry all this damn gold on his back. He can just send Bitcoin to somewhere in Europe and then buy the gold there.
Peter Schiff's got bags of gold.
Think about it, right? The initial dollar was backed by gold, because you should be able to take this paper note, slap it on a bank counter, and the bank's going to say, here's your gold.
Here's your gold.
Right?
On demand.
Well, can't we do that peer-to-peer now? Somebody can say, hey, I have a Cadillac. And Keith will be like, here's some Bitcoin. Oh, but it's backed by a Cadillac now. Oh, wait, somebody else is like, hey, I got some gold. Hey, here's some Bitcoin. Now it's backed by gold. But it's not something that's exclusive with an authority that says we have all this gold reserve and blah, blah, blah. It's backed in this hoarding. No, it's backed by people using it to transmit value, because money is a container of value. The problem is everybody's got a straw in our cup. And we're the ones that fill this cup up with our energy, with our sweat and blood. We work our asses off for this fucking money. And so that's why they're so scared. And that was funny to see Peter Schiff contradict himself so many times today. He was just like, well, they're not going to regulate. They just don't. If they thought it was threatening, they'd be doing something about it. It's like, I mean, China, didn't you just mention China is trying to ban it? But yet they're not going to do anything about it because, they're not threatened, right?
Are you
go
going
to buygold.com.
Will you get an opportunity to talk to Dr. Paul like you're talking right now?
I talked to him on a podcast with Ernest.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, you heard that. Yeah. It's kind of it's on the archives right now, but, they're like, all right, go around the room and ask a question, right? So I was like, so Dr. Paul, first, it's an honor to talk to you, right? But what is the biggest challenge? I know, right? What's the biggest challenge you face? I mean, you took the bull by the horns, man. You went right into the heart of the evil of this world. Well, what is it that was your biggest challenge? And he was like, basically, people not believing me. Yeah. I felt like I was a guy just sitting out here talking, and everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, this guy's crazy." Yeah, because I mean, people are so. I mean, we're programmed from birth, man, and parents are programmed to program their children. You have to follow my authority because I am under the authority of the police, and then the police make me raise you this way, and I don't get you vaccinated. You can't go to school, and then these kids get stuck in this indoctrination, and then people get stuck in this indoctrination, and then you tell them about, hey, your whole life has been a lie. People don't want to hear that. Yeah, right. They don't want to fucking. They'd be like, "What?" Like Deanna, she served 18 years in the military. You got her. She was like, she ran all the medical things, and she's just starting to realize, and it's just like, holy shit, like that's fucked up, and like she almost didn't want to. But it's like, dude, like you learned, you did the best thing you could. Like all my friends in the Marines from high school, and they came back all fucked up. Every fucking one of them, man. But they said, you know what? I fought for my right, and I fought for my fucking left, and that's the problem. It's like we're fighting for each other. But there's some fucking dictator up in the clouds saying, no, this is what you do. Like we're pawns in a fucking game, man. And so that's, I think, one of the really beautiful things about cryptocurrencies too, is with it, now we can be like, well, yeah, that was all I, but now you got an alternative. Yeah. And we can make it better. Like you don't have to worry about this bullshit. You don't have to worry about bureaucracy. We can take this into our own hands, but there's nothing more like, how should I say it, terrible to know that the world as you know it is not how you've known it. Yeah. And it's not hearts and flowers, and it's fucked up, and we've got sick pedophiles running around and every fucking thing else. Now, that sucks to hear until you realize, wait, problems without solutions is despair. But now we have solutions. Yeah. Now we have the power to do it, and we've never had that power before. We tried in the 60s, it didn't work because they were feeding the war. Now we have that opportunity again with crypto, with music, with the revolutions happening everywhere. I mean, we're going to be starting like Nexus Stock. We were just talking about it. We're going to start the Nexus Stock. It's going to be all electronic, big-ass show. Do it out in PA. Yeah, Nexus Stock. Yeah. We need to bring fucking people back together with me. You guys get that? Music brings people together, man.
Can you talk to that? What is Nexus's plan as far as getting music to people, and helping artists be able to use the blockchain?
So we just been around like planting some seeds in Hollywood like last week, actually, before the conference. We met up with Mark Lipsky. He's one of Calvin Harris's guys. They're directly tied into like the mainstream with Jay-Z's Rock Nation and all that, and Paul Oakenfold and all of them. And so, number one DJ in the world. Oh, he's cool. Like at first he's like, "What do you want from me, Mike? Like, why am I here?" And we're just like, "Just to shoot the shit, Paul. And like, fucking like drink a couple beers and talk about what we're doing and seeing if you like it." And he's like, "All right, Mike, I got it." And then he kicks back. He's like, "Oh, all right." 'Cause, dude, like. So many people in the world are like, gimme, money. Yeah. And all these people are like, do you want money? And we're like, no, we don't want your fucking, just keep your money, man. Yeah. Like, let's go for it. So what we're doing with the music industry is like, music is something that I think brings people together. For those moments, like, I mean, you showed me that Queen movie where everybody's saying Bohemian Rhapsody together. And it shows us we're all connected. Like, and it helps us have that experience of that because not everybody can see beyond lack of experience, I guess you could say. So we're starting festivals, we're getting more musicians, and now we were talking with Mark Lipsky about actually doing a content delivery platform because he's like, everybody streams, and we're like, well, there's copyright issues in the mainstream right now, right? Well, it was created by peer-to-peer networks, so we can make it go away with peer-to-peer networks by making a content platform because nobody fucking wants to download music anymore. It's a pain in the ass. You gotta download it, you gotta upload it to your phone, you gotta do it the whole Apple iTunes shit and whatever else. Then you have to know that you have it, then you have to buy the actual space. Everyone wants to stream. I stream, and without internet, I'm like, oh fuck, man, this sucks. You know what I mean?
Now, when you said that in your speech, man, me and him looked at each other like we were just talking about something very similar. He came up with an idea that sounded very eerily similar, and then when you said it, it just verified. Like, dude, this is where it needs to go.
We all have pieces of the same ideas. That's what's so cool about the community, man. Like, I mean, I don't have all the answers. Preston doesn't. Keith doesn't. You don't. But like, we put all these minds together, and we start to realize that we have the bigger picture. All pieces of the same puzzle.
That's why I thought about getting into cryptocurrency because I read that paper, putting videos and audio content through the blockchain, having like the tattoo.
I remember when we talked about that.
Yes.
I remember, absolutely.
It was me and Brian. The first.
Hey, you got over here. Where is he?
I'm right here.
He's out here.
Hey, Brian! Yeah!
He slowly moved over.
Yeah, he was over at the other fucking table over
I
there.
told you, I have that whole like social anxiety thing. I don't
It's
know.
fine.
That's
It's
all
just
right,
a piece of
Dude, yeah, it's
plastic.
just a camera.
And it's just
not
friends.
like you're already
we're
on
just
film.
friends.
Yeah,
That's
it's
it.
true.
We're
We're
just
just
sitting with
talking
friends,
shit,
talking
man.
Well, you
shit.
guys start talking about this whole like the music thing and being able to put like a signature on something, have a contract for being able to
Yeah, financial contract.
have it be able to be like sold through the blockchain and it just be up there for anyone to purchase. And
It's the best idea.
And then, I
it's
mean,
so
anybody,
great.
then that gets rid of it. Because, I mean, I think lethargy is a big reason people don't deal with copyright shit. Because like, who the fuck do I call? What piece of paper do I sign? I have to go through that. How much money? If you just go and you'd be like, oh, this artist.
That's what
Okay,
I
let's
want.
check out this album. Okay, well, here's the terms. If you want to use it on a movie, here's this. If you want to use it on this, here. Oh, royalty rights. Oh, okay, so I have to make a movie here. Now, if my movie gets plays and people pay for that play, then I can just tie that to another financial contract that goes right back into them.
It makes it automatic.
Automated. He needs, like, as Ernest Hancock said, he says the grandma just button. You need the just button. You just do it. So you just click, here you go. And so you just search your favorite artist and it creates a whole decentralized database and then a content monetization platform too for any artist like us. Just get your name out there.
This is like being in the middle of a zeitgeist that is like,
You know what's really cool about that too? We were actually thinking about
It's
this in my company. We were trying to figure out a way to cut out the large overhead the musicians have with the music industry right now, where they only see like 1/10, if that, of
Yeah,
what they
exactly.
can
Oh yeah,
sell their
dude,
music
it's
for.
the labels got the stranglehold on
Exactly.
it.
This
These
is
360 deals and shit like that, man. They don't.
decentralized
Yeah,
music.
you make an album, not anything you do. You can fucking have a hot dog stand. Well, they're taking a piece of that too now
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
360 means everything. Your
Yep.
whole entire world, they get royalties for it, or they get the percentage. They get the majority of it.
Whoa. That's good luck.
Somebody's breaking something over there.
Sorry to cut you off.
Welcome to the
Continue
next
that point.
So you
I'm
were
all
trying to
tripping over
figure
my
out
shoes.
how to get everything, like we were trying to figure out a way to create a platform for musicians to get paid without it having to go through these giant organizations where they take a cut every single step
There
of
we
the
go,
way.
Brian.
And I'm like, I'm hearing this, I'm like, this is great. This is exactly what I was talking
Well,
about.
Brian over here, say hi. Brian. So we're gonna build it. Let's build it.
All right, I'm in.
Perfect.
And we got
when you build
direct
it, I'll
plug
use
in
it.
the mainstream. Yeah, 360.com. These guys, you know, like Calvin Harris, like he's a world-renowned DJ. Like, I mean, dude, Paul Oakenfold would be all over that. Mark Lipsky, like he'd be all over
Everybody
that.
would jump on it.
Oh yeah, dude. It was his idea too. He was like, "Well, if you could do this," we're like, "Oh, we can't do that."
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a possibility.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we build this. It's plugged right into Hollywood, right into the mainstream music scene. Yeah, but it's never been implemented.
He's never been implemented. A library would be a close.
Yeah, they're close to it.
He was supposed to do that.
Music.
Tatiana Moros too. She's working on things like that too. And I mean, artists need their own freedom, man. I mean, we're going into a new renaissance.
It would take the power away. So you'll have all this shitty music out in mainstream. They decide what's written. That would give the power to the people in choosing, and giving that funding directly to the artist who made it. So this is an incredible ideology for all forms of art, not just music.
This is artists,
renaissance.
movie makers. What do you think we're working on with Scott Hayes? We're figuring out how we can do it for movies. And create a monetization platform for all of that without the 85% steam it, pre-mine tax.
Yeah. But this is the heart of Nexus, and like you were saying, you come in, you're like, oh, this is an opportunity for me to make some fucking money, and then you start looking, and you're like, wait, hold on a second. What is Nexus?
You know how many
Like,
people, every fucking person, after like 2 months or 1 month, they're like, Nexus has changed my life. I'm like, I know, me too, man. We're all getting changed here, man.
These people watching.
This one person watching. The playback is where it's at, man. The playback. Yeah, it's incredible. It might be me. I might have my phone still running over there.
It's probably Sal, actually. He's been watching every single thing.
Oh, you know who it is? It's Dave Casey. All right,
Yeah, we gotta
no
get
problem.
on
We'll
my
let you guys go.
Yeah,
Colin,
dude.
excellent.
Let's do a live stream
Preston,
jam tomorrow,
excellent.
too.
Keith, so
I got
much.
Tatiana. Scott Hayes plays music. So
yeah.
does Scott.
Brian,
We're gonna be
excellent.
live streaming on that. Fuck yeah.
We're gonna have freestyle sessions. Still hang out.
You gotta go, or you gotta go with them, or what?
I'm rolling.
All right, yeah, roll with them.
All right,
We got more to cover. Here. We got more to cover. Come on around. We have another guest. Amazing, absolutely amazing.
Crazy.
Nexus is more than just it's more than just an opportunity to make money, financial gains. Although I think that's why a lot of people get into it initially. But like you're saying, there's just so much more to it. The network that underlies that surface part, and then once you break through that, you start realizing, all right, this could possibly change my life. So we want to bring in another guest, and I just want you to state your name, your business, everything. Just give us a brief summary of everything.
Certainly. My name's Sean Kurtz, founder of Clout.io. I'm also the founder of Bitcoin Day Traders. And
come on over to Sunday.
From founding the Facebook group, we see there's a need for people in the market to have an idea of what to invest in, because there's a lot of scams out there, and what ICOs are credible and what are just scams. So what we're trying to do is put together a platform. What we are doing is putting together a platform that's similar to Facebook, but strictly dedicated towards cryptocurrency. We also have a dollar coin generated from owning Clout CLC. My partner here, James, collaborated on that. You want to go on that, DJ?
What's going on, James? How you doing? Good. Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah. So the whole platform's called Clout, and basically the idea came from just being a normal crypto investor and trying to get into things and trying to get an idea of what to do. So I spend a lot of my time scrolling through different Facebook pages, different Reddit pages, Steam, all the other, platforms that exist, and there's nothing really Reddit, crypto's only a subcategory and all those things, and my thinking is, it's a $100 billion industry, it deserves its own webpage. Yeah. And what we're trying to do is, we have a daughter token, CLC, and our main token is called Clout. The CLC generates by holding Clout, similar to the neon gas thing. Okay. So you're going to hold that, you're going to be generated one per year. So the cool thing about ours is it generates less and less time, so the market doesn't get oversaturated. So basically, users are going to use that CLC to interact with our platform. So the platform is going to have a bunch of different sections to it, being news, media, investment, coins, like short-term, long-term, ICOs, and then a who's who in the crypto world, basically. So we're going to give credit finally to those YouTubers, bloggers, people that have been, you guys, podcasters that are, providing positively to the group to be, rewarded for it. But the huge difference with Clout than any other, Reddit, Facebook, Steam, anything like that, is that we're not trying to say that we're reinventing user-generated content. That's been done. We know that we're putting it on steroids because we're going to be the only platform that every single user is financially incentivized to filter for content. So right now, if you're on Facebook and say you're smart enough, you're lucky enough to see a post that is FUD or fake, so in the best case scenario, what you're going to do is scroll by it. You're not going to do anything with it because you're lucky enough to know. The new user doesn't know, and he's probably going to get scammed, and it's going to ruin his time. On our site, everybody's incentivized to be filtering for content always. So it's not just the posters that are controlling the content; it's the upvoters, downvoters, people who are commenting on the comments. The more and more people that come to our platform, the more and more accurate the information is going to be. Whereas, Reddit, Facebook, all those other places, the more and more people that come on, the more static, the more noise there, with less usable information. So that's why ours is, much different and better, because it's going to bring the whole crypto community together from all segmented sections of Slack, Facebook groups, this, that. It's going to bring it all together for the common good of good investment information, good news information, everything. Because right now, it's a big barrier for people to come in and try to find
how do you get into the market?
Yeah, sure. I was just talking with that investor. He's new, and he was asking how do I, get into it. That's what you see everywhere on Reddit, Facebook. What do I invest in? What coins should I invest in? Right. That's all you see 100 times a day. So we're going to give that answer finally.
What is your timeline for delivery on that?
So we are in pre-ICO stage right now. Our ICO is October 27th. We're going to have a beta ready to go before the ICO, because the ICO know that in this day and age now everybody's saying, no product, no money, I think there has to be something behind it. So we want to give the users a real good, nice functioning platform.
So we'll show them something before the ICO.
Great idea.
Our developers are top of the line, amazing. They've worked on 3 of the top 25 coins. Our team's absolutely amazing. Our chief advisor we just signed on, Ryan Fugger, was one of the founders of Ripple. Super great guy, very insightful. We've got 2 attorneys on the team, a securities attorney, Destiny Agby, graduated from Vanderbilt, and also an attorney in Hong Kong, Vilma Matila, who's very good as well.
What brought you guys to the Nexus Conference?
I love Nexus. Nexus is one of my favorite tokens I own. It was my second favorite to Neo. until China shut down my favorite exchange, Binance.
Were you holding Ant shares before Neo?
Yes, I was.
Yeah,
that's me and Kim came into contact with each other because through his Facebook group, I'm sure he was telling you about. And I got into before the August 1st crash, when everybody was short and everything, we were talking about shorting Bitcoin.
Yeah, because we used to run Whales Club, was initially shorting Bitcoin when it was about to crash.
That was the club. Yeah. Shorting
and then the club was, initially because I was making money off of people shorting it as a referral program from Whales Club.
Right.
But then after the market started picking up, nobody was shorting. Yeah. But everyone was coming to say, what coins do we invest in? So then we changed it from Whales Club, like shorting, to Bitcoin day traders, to where we'll provide information. And Dean started like really analyzing the market and spending a lot of time on it. And we do a coin of the week every week, and our coins would go up like 400%. Wow. So then we started getting like a huge following.
People wanted to pay for that information early. Right. So kind of pretty much that Facebook group was a microcosm for cloud.
And then we're like, let's make a platform based on this, because we see that there's a market for people coming into the community and wanting to know how to, properly allocate their funds to make a proper return on an investment.
Without selling your secret sauce, what is your process to a certain extent? How are you finding out?
Well, it's not like a big, you mean for cloud or just for us?
For your personal,
for yourself.
Why are people coming to you? How are you doing it?
We're big winners. People.
What kind of researching are you doing?
I'm using all the other channels that I talked about that I want to put into cloud. You know what I mean? Reddit, Steam, Facebook, all the things that you use that you're forced to use now, and you have to go over all those things and research. Have 10 pages up.
To maybe I'm a believer in what you're saying. I need this too.
So, charts. Charts are a big thing, and following the charts and everything throughout the market. Like in this market, it's weird, but you become the market, and you can feel what the market's gonna do, and individual coins are going to do by following them enough, and by just some intrinsic feeling you get by news and by the charts. It's kind of crazy how it works, but like you start to just feel the market.
What do you think of metal?
Not the response he was looking
for. Until I sold it.
But I've been dumping it too. But it seems to be steadily going up. I had it at $1, and I was so devastated that it went all the way up to 13. But I had already sold like 3 times and bought back in.
Yeah. See, the way I take those scenarios as a trader, you're going to be upset as a trader psychologically, pretty much with anything that happens.
Yeah.
If you sell early, you sell late. You didn't sell, you didn't buy. You're always going to be upset about something.
Right.
So I just try to have it be as less gambling as possible. So if something's going up 20%, I take it. If something's going down 10%, I take it. And that's what I'm trying to bring to the cloud platform, that it's going to all be run with crowd wisdom. So like the explanation me and Sean just gave for how we pick good coins, like, okay, nobody else can really imitate that. What did they just say? Oh, intrinsically, like we feel them out, But for cloud, it's going to be a whole systematic thing, because the more of us you add to the platform, the more and more people you add to it, the crowd wisdom gets stronger.
Because the owners of cloud, us, the founders, we don't create the content, and we don't even agree on the content that's going to be the content that leads the way in the different aspects, because the community is going to agree what's relevant and what's not via CLC. And another big aspect of cloud that I think is really amazing that I don't see anybody else doing is we're going to have a section dedicated to people in the community who deserve respect and recognition, if they want it, of course, because in the real world you have your Kim Kardashians and your LeBron Jameses, but not many people know Charles Hoskinson. Vitalik Buterin would be top of the list, and everyone would agree on him. But there's so many people out here that people don't know that have made such huge contributions to the cryptocurrency space, and they deserve recognition. And our platform, in addition to many, many things, is going to do that.
Sure, it sounds like a great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
it really sounds like a tool I need, because like what you were saying. When you were saying, like, when you're looking at the charts and you got 15 tabs open and you're trying to find out that one piece of information that's going to go, okay, I'm going in. I'm going into this coin. And I felt like I was there a couple days ago. Hold on. I felt like I was there a couple days ago, and I was reading some shit, and I was looking at OK Coin, because we had a buddy who bought some OK. He made some money off it. And then I saw on their page they were releasing a mobile server app for Minecraft. And I know Minecraft is a huge fucking thing. And it was on the day where I found that piece of information was the day they were supposed to be releasing it. At midnight, I found it. So I'm like, I found the one fucking piece. I bought in. I had a friend of mine buy in, and now it's down like 20-something fucking percent. Yeah. So when you think you're feeling it, for me, because I'm not in for that long, you know what I'm saying? I got a long way to go is what I'm saying. And something like clout seems like something I need in my life right now, so I can stop making these poor decisions. You know?
Yeah, it's going to be the investor's best friend. I mean, it's going to be the tool that you have both want from everything. You're not going to need to go through all those different channels to try to find quality information. You're just going to go right there, boom, it's going to be there for you in whatever kind of aspect you want to look at it, whether it be the investment side, the news and media side, because we're going to, a lot of things, like to speak to your point that, you just found out at midnight before something major was going down with the coin, we're going to have, listed for all the major coins, big roadmap timeline things that are happening in them. So you say, Nexus is having their conference. You're going to see that not 12 p.m. before it happens, a month, 2 months in advance. You're going to be able to have the most accurate information at your hands possible and make the best investments.
Right. And the largest question or concern someone's come up to us with about having this platform is, doesn't this level the playing field too much? And my answer is, I think that in order for the digital currency community to grow as big as it should and as big as it's capable of doing, there does have to be some kind of more of a leveling playing field so that people can stop getting scammed in these bullshit waves coins and these bullshit ICOs that are just out there to rob people. So does it level the playing field a little bit? Yes, but I think it's exactly what the community needs in order to grow.
Sure, absolutely, because then there'll be more strength in somebody's own decisions. They'll be like, okay, there's a community of people who are saying these are good items to go into. These are some things that you need to look at, and it gives you more confidence then to enter the market in the first place, because it's scary to enter the fucking market.
Prophecy, because then they eventually win anyways. Yeah. So it's going to work out either way. But that's where we're headed with clout.
That's awesome. Give it again. Just give the information where we could find the Facebook page, any information that you can give on Clout.
Our website is clout.io, clout.io. Yeah. And then our Facebook page is called Clout Media Decentralized, with an S, not a Z.
Okay.
Because our guy in the UK made it.
That's right.
And
he understands Z's very well.
He's not a pedophile.
He's not in the government.
For the record, he is not a pedophile.
Isn't that crazy how the conversation de-escalated like that?
Holy shit. That shit was crazy. All right, so you guys are here for the rest of the conference,
yes,
right?
We are.
All right, so we're definitely going to link up again, and we're going to have some further discussions on Clout, because again, this is something I probably need in my life immediately, as soon as it's available.
It's available.
It's available now.
To pre-ICO. The actual platform is going to be available in March. Betas before the ICO. In a couple of weeks, we'll have a beta, but the pre-ICO is going now. Selling out 3 million. Tokens are allocated for the pre-ICO. We've already about 1 million of those tokens have already been claimed in the last week.
Awesome.
And
we're looking to close out our pre-ICO probably in the next week or two.
Because we're going to go on Angel List. We've been holding back.
Hold up a second, all right? Don't close it just yet. I get back to the homestead and get in.
What we wanted to do was we didn't want to initially list on Bitcoin growth funds just yet, or Angel List, because we don't want to have a bunch of people just taking the coins and dumping them. And we're not saying that that's what they do, but we're trying to give the everyday people, as long as they're accredited, the first opportunity, because we feel they're not going to be so inclined to dump all of them right away. So we gave it a week. We might give it one more week, then we're going to end up listing on Angel List and Bitcoin Growth Fund. We're already on them. We just haven't given the green light yet to go ahead and launch.
Excellent, man. It was awesome, man. And I'm having such a great
I really
time because
appreciate
we're
you
getting
guys.
to meet people like you, what I'm saying, who will certainly improve my trading abilities. I can see that.
Come here to meet you.
Sean,
It's a pleasure meeting both you guys.
Thank you so
super
much.
awesome.
James,
We appreciate
thank
it.
you for sitting down with us. I appreciate it.
We'll you
link
guys
up
couldn't
again.
get out there, so
Thank
you. It's everything.
Yeah, no
Guys are
problem.
awesome.
No problem.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to be wrapping this thing up here.
I had yours, don't I?
I don't know.
We
Give
give
a
some
card.
closing thoughts. We don't have any cards.
You're
Correct
right.
at Axiom. Seymour Mac. Did I give you my Facebook?
No, it's not on Facebook.
Just look Seymour.
No.
SEYMOUR.
Send me an email.
Doc or just look up Correct at Axiom. You'll find both our pages through that. But yeah, we're going to be closing up the live from Nexus Conference podcast. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I know the video, not everybody's paying attention to the video. It's more about the audio. So hopefully it came through. Fantastic. Please be sure to share this video with everybody that you can. And we certainly appreciate it. Correct at Axiom is out from the Nexus Conference. See you guys.